Warning. The following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
But I'm gonna tell you like this, Aldo. Those motherfucking stupid fucking announcers, Al Michaels and Kurt fucking Herbstreit, are sitting there talking motherfucking shit the whole fucking time. Like, haha, Chicago fans will cheer for anything. You know, it's worse. It's bad to have a bad fucking team, but to have to listen to these stupid motherfuckers every fucking game running their motherfucking mouth pisses me the fuck off.
Get up. Well, get up. Get up. Well, get up.
He's over here making fun of us. You know what I mean? That's why I called his ass out on a tweet, and I don't never call nobody out on Twitter because I don't believe in that shit. But damn, dude, I should have tweeted. I hope Shannon Sharp kicks your motherfucking ass, asshole. Over here making fun of me because I'm cheering for my motherfucking team, man. What the fuck is wrong with people, man? This is a goddamn nationally televised motherfucking game, and us Bears fans are over here being passionate as shit, just trying to fucking see something fucking nice, and this asshole is making fun of us and the Bears simultaneously while on a national broadcast like there's not a fucking football game going on, that he's supposed to be a fucking colored analyst. Stupid ass shit, man. Motherfuckers piss me off, dude.
I said rock to the rhythm, you don't stop, cause ghetto funk has got to beat the show shot. I said rock to the rhythm, you don't stop, so who the squad that'll make the house drop? Ghetto funk with the rhythm, you don't stop, cause the squad has got to beat the show shot. I said rock to the rhythm, you don't stop, so who the squad that'll make the house drop? Ghetto.
And I can honestly say, without question, that I felt a severe amount of empathy and sympathy for him when he lost his dog. I prayed for him and his fucking dog. And maybe that's why it fucking hurts so much, because I'm over here caring for this fucking asshole, and he's over here making fun of me like I'm a fucking goofy or something. Motherfuckers, man. You know what, dude? I'm fucking... Don't even get me fucking going, bro. Fucking... I don't even need to go 0 to 100 because I'm fucking idle at fucking 90.
Get up. Well, get up. Get up, do the up rock. Get down and shake it when the beat drop.
What the fuck? What did they stop on fucking... They stopped at fucking 16th and Karlov and grab a couple bags, bro? That's a fucking first down, bro. It's not even fucking close. It's like fucking 3 feet fucking longer than a fucking first down.
Get up, do the up rock. Get down and shake it when the beat drop.
And is it me, or does Roshan Johnson look like he runs the same 40 time as a fucking 12-inch fill-top cinder block?
Go. I said rock to the rhythm, you don't stop.
And I hate to say it, bro, I don't have the numbers for you, bro, but damn, dude, Caleb takes a lot of sacks he shouldn't fucking take, man. He's always trying to create. Like, I get it, but if that's the hill he's gonna die on, bro, it's gonna be a rough motherfucking life, dude. Damn.
That's right.
And that image of Tremaine Edmonds at midfield with Montez Sweat shaking everybody's hand and laughing, I don't give a fuck if this is a football game or not, bro. I don't want to fucking see that fucking stupid ass shit. You should be like Caleb Williams and fucking DJ Moore on the bench fucking pissed because you get paid fucking millions of dollars. I mean, what do we get charged for fucking Montez Sweat's fucking sacks? Do we literally pay that dude $15, $20, $22 million per fucking sack? Are you fucking serious? Show me the fucking stats. Van fucking Ginkel, Jonathan Greener, motherfucking... It's fucking ridiculous, dude. Fucking take your ass, walk to the locker room like the Detroit Pistons versus the fucking Bulls because you're fucking ass and you fucking suck and you get paid millions of dollars and ruin your fucking people that care about you's life every fucking night. Because I'm one of those fucking people, dude. Motherfucker, man.
Get up, do the up rock. Get down and shake it when the beat drop. Get up. Well, get up. Get Get up, do the up rock. Get down and shake it when the beat drop. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Well, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up.
Welcome, everyone, to a new episode of BS with Aldo. I've actually changed the title of the show. It's called BSing with Aldo, but I want to call it Bear Stuff with Aldo, and then just use the acronym BS because, yeah, there's a lot of bear shit, bullshit going on with this organization that we need to talk about. And I'm still forming and developing this show to find its voice. But one of the things that I definitely want to do is to give a voice to the Barflies and Bears fans about what they think. In the 5-minute pre-open, we heard Brandon Lawson sending me audio texts throughout the game and expressing his frustration with these Chicago Bears. And as my guest today, that's one of the first questions I have for him is, where's your level of frustration? You know, when is there a ceiling? So let me welcome in Flex Diggs. You guys know him from the chat area. Flex, how are you, my man?
What's up, Aldo? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. It's good to see you face to face.
Same here.
You are a frequent visitor to the chat, and this is a great opportunity for us to talk face to face, so to speak. So I want to start with that question: where is your limit as a Bears fan? We heard fans at Soldier Field yesterday say, "Sell the team." Do you want to add to that and say, "Sell the team," or I'm headed the fuck out?
Well, as Bears fans, we got a high threshold for bullshit. Okay.
No shit.
So
No
we
shit.
got a built up tolerance for this. So, you know, it isn't anything new to get our asses kicked.
Mm-hmm.
But at least yesterday, I will say, I mean, everybody's dumping on the Bears right now. And I'm dumping on the Bears, and you are, and everybody. I mean, it's easy to do. But at least they showed something yesterday. They gave up 6 points. You know, it's been horrible to watch them. They're just getting railroaded in the first quarter, and the game's over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
So, you know, it's been disappointing just turning the game on, and you're like, oh, man, we're down already. We ain't doing anything. And I think one of the big reasons was because Billings went down, you know. And if I was to call it, I'd say, you know, they got like 20 captains on the team here. And it's like, okay, everybody's a captain, so nobody's a captain. But, you know, usually on offense, your quarterback or the best playmaker. And on defense, it's usually the biggest dude on your team. You know, he's the guy that rallies everybody, and he's the guy you could hit, like, the big guy's got my back, you know. And Billings going down, it was like complete collapse. But yesterday, I seen a little bit from Dexter here, who, you know what, he's probably the biggest dude on the team, and he's a second-year guy, and he, you know, and he made a big step this year from, you know, coming from the Florida Gators system that he was a rookie last year, and he didn't really make too many big plays. But he's somebody that we have to hope that maybe he could step up because, you know, the biggest guys usually got to be the captains, you know.
Exactly. They got to lead with their play on the field and their actions off of it. And, you know, one of the things I asked you to be prepared about was most disappointing players. And when we get to that list, there are captains on my list because of that, because they really fucked up how they captained the team. And when captains screw up, you know whose fault that is first and foremost? It's the head coach, because he's got to groom these guys. He's got to manage these guys, or their position coaches, or anyone on the fucking coaching staff needs to work with the captains and tell them, these are your responsibilities, and this is what I expect week in and week out. But they clearly didn't get that, because if not, then people like DJ Moore wouldn't be shrugging their shoulders, walking off the field when the play is still live. Shit like that, and things that people said. You know, it really has been frustrating. Flex, of all your years watching the Chicago Bears, is this the most frustrating time you've had?
No. no, it's not. I mean, I think, Aldo, I was on with you about like 2 years ago, okay?
Yeah.
And you were like, I'm gonna quit this. I'm gonna quit doing this. And I'm like, you know what? I better call in and talk to this guy before he quits. Because I enjoy the show. And if this guy's leaving, I at least got to talk to him once, And 2 years ago, I came on, and it was right before the last game of the season, and we got the first pick. So it was right before Lovey got us the first pick. Okay. Yeah. And we're talking, you know what? We need to get these trenches fixed. We need to get some guys on the outside or some playmakers, and the cycle continues, man. We're in that same cycle. It's like, here we go. We're looking for a coach again. We got a new quarterback where we need to get these trenches right on both sides of the ball. We can't protect the kid. You know what? Guys are dropping footballs. Guys are acting like they don't want to be out there. And it's like, here we are again 2 years later. I would say that one was frustrating as hell because we're looking at Flus first year, and I'm like, 14 games in a row we lost. Like, you should be able to fall out of a tree and hit one damn win, It's like, damn, dude.
I hear you, man.
And here we are 10 games in a row, man. Again, it's like, here we are. So it's like that monk where they show him getting kicked in the nuts. It's like, okay, like 100 times. It's like you get numb after a while, It's like, okay, we've been kicked in the We're taking the shots.
So where are you at with Ryan Post? Because he's now had 3 full seasons to put together a winning team, and we all expected them to have a winning record this year. Everybody, and maybe there's 1% of people who say, this or that, and they were right. But for the most part, everyone, national, local media, fans around. I remember Chad Johnson saying on one of his podcasts, "The Bears are the team to watch." Other notable people. Well, so where are you at? Because Ryan Post hasn't delivered on the promise.
It sucks because who do you trust up there? Do you trust George McCaskey? No. Do you trust Kevin Warren? I don't.
No.
Okay, he's there. He's there to get billions of dollars from taxpayers for a stadium.
Thank you.
And then you know what he wants to do after that? He wants to take Roger Goodell's job. He wants to get the stadium here. He wants to secure. This is going to be his jump off to him becoming commissioner. That's what he's here for. Yeah. So then I'll be like, okay, I don't trust him either. And then you're like, Poles. Well, Poles looked really bad on Hard Knocks and stuff like that. He didn't do himself any favors. And the McCaskies there's a reason why they didn't want to do Hard Knocks for all these years, because they didn't want to show the dysfunction of what's going on over there. Exactly. It's better to think everybody's stupid. Everybody think you're stupid than to open your mouth and remove all doubt, And they don't want to show, they don't want everybody seeing, oh man, these guys don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
But, I think that Poles, he's a younger guy that took the job, and we're looking at it as he could grow in the job. And out of those 3, he's the only one I trust. If Ian Cunningham is there as like a governor, as consigliere, where he could just be like, you know what, because he did pull him back from that trade. And, he was going to trade up for Roma Dunze there, it looked like.
Yeah.
And, it's a good thing he fell to us. But, it's just, he's about the only guy we could trust up there right now, man. And I'm saying that as, that's the tallest midget.
I hear you. But do you think that perhaps Kevin Warren should be given the opportunity to bring in his own GM? Because again, we've talked about this for now a decade. Here in Chicago, we have mistimed the synchronization between GM, coach, and quarterback is all fucked up. And you can't correct that now because you already got your quarterbacks. You got to look for a head coach who's going to be able to work with this quarterback, which shouldn't be too hard because the guy truly is gifted. But
yeah, I agree.
So for instance, Mayhem wants Ryan Post fired, but I don't know about
that's
Ian
understandable.
Cunningham. What do we know about Ian Cunningham? Maybe he's the one that's fucking things up. I don't know.
Well, you know what? They came from the right organizations. We're looking at Ian Cunningham, and he was with the Eagles, and he was with the Ravens, I believe.
Right.
And we got polls from KC, and it's like, then we go and we get Flus from Indianapolis. Like they're a hotbed of like all these coaches. The reason why all his staff came with him was because they were all about to get fired too.
That's right.
So, remember when we got Nagy, he wasn't allowed to bring anybody with him, like when he came from KC and they're like, no, you ain't taking none of our guys. But when we get Flus and all his crew, it's like, oh yeah, take them. It's cool. Just take them.
Exactly.
So we're taking from the wrong spots. You're supposed to take from the teams that are really good, and you take their best talent.
Yeah.
And, we get stuck in just the good old boy network. I know this guy. You know what? We got a bunch of guys up there that don't know what the hell they're doing. And we as Bear fans, we get the brunt of it because we love this team. And then we're just like, oh, shit, we suck again.
Right. Yeah. The whole thing with polls, I do believe a general manager should be allowed a second chance at picking the head coach. Yeah. What makes me really angry with Poles, though, is the lack of attention he has paid to the offensive line. And then at the defensive line, he signs Montez Sweat to a huge, superstar contract, but he has never shown that he can play at a superstar level.
Well, we were desperate there, Aldo. We were desperate.
You're right.
It's like, dude, and he traded a second rounder for him. And it's like, you know what? In the middle of the season, it was kind of like, what are we doing here? And then he traded for Claypool, gave up a second, and he's given away too many draft picks. And now I think he's got, he's a younger guy that's trying to figure it out. And everybody that's saying, hey, I want to get rid of Poles. I mean, you can't really refute that. I'm just saying he's the tallest midget, man. Out of all those people up there, he's the one that he made a trade to where we got the first pick and he multiplied it, so he does have that. And I think that he can grow, and I could see everybody saying, hey, you know what? The guy's got 1 year, axe him. Why don't we just have him start again with a new coach that wants his own GM or this or that.
Right.
And you know what? That's understandable, but I don't trust these people to hire a new guy.
Yeah, I don't. That's my problem. Is they've had real bad issues with talent evaluation and managing talent. But I don't know. The only way I would bring Ryan Poles back is if he can answer certain questions to the point where I would say, all right, sounds like you got a great fucking plan.
Yeah.
Like, so for instance, what is your plan to fix the offensive line? Because my opinion, Ryan, is that you only got one starter returning next year, and that's Darnell Wright. Maybe Braxton Jones at left tackle, but the rest of the line has to be, what are you going to do next year to protect our number one asset, our quarterback? What are you going to do?
Man, it's so tough, man. One guy to stick on the line. It's like on the offensive line, you got 4 spots to fill. Seriously, man. So I just, Wright was a good pick. He's come along as the season's gone on. You know what? I don't think he started off too well. Right. And, Tevin Jenkins, are they going to try to sign him? It's like, dude, the guy can't stay healthy. And Braxton Jones just snapped his leg.
Yeah, exactly. So who knows?
It's like, okay, so now we've been crying for a center for how many years? So it's just like, so Ryan Poles, who's going to ask him these questions though? McCaskey or Kevin Warren? Who's going to say, how are you going to fix this line? You're going to need the head coach to come in here. Cause let's say, the big names right now are Ben Johnson or you got Mike Vrabel and stuff like that. And, are they going to get their offensive line in shape on the same page? You're working as a unit here. That's what we need. We don't need to have like gangbusters at every position. We need everybody working together. And you know what? The best this line looked was when we had Tevin Jenkins next to Darnell Wright, and we were able to road grade on the right side. And we were, that's when we could really like do some damage. But, then they had the Nate Davis. For some reason, they just love this Nate Davis guy. And you know what? The guy didn't work out at all, man. The guy was completely, the one time they asked him to show up to work, the guy's like, no, I'm good. And they're like, okay, you're cut.
I'm telling you, the mistakes that Poles has made are very difficult to overlook. It really is. So let me ask you this. First of all, somebody made a comment here I want to share with you. Soa says that the management is cheap. They don't want to pay coaches. Time for a new owner. Yeah, we all agree it's time for a new owner. But let me ask in terms of big money, because the Bears have spent a lot of money on players, on facilities. They've done a lot of things that the administration staff is bigger than ever. Not that they need it, but it's bigger than ever. But here's the question. If they said, hey, we got $15 million to spend on a head coach for the next 5 years, who would you bring in at that kind of money, Flex? And I'll ask the people in the chat
Well,
too. Who's
obviously,
worth
everybody was crying for Harbaugh last year. Everybody was
Right.
screaming for Harbaugh, and that was an obvious because of the connection with being here.
that?
And, he was a guy that you're like, that's a no-brainer. That really was. But, I think a lot of the conflict was with probably Warren. They had a conflict there in the Big Ten there with the COVID season and that. So that was kind of like probably a sticking point right there. And Ryan Poles, if you believe what you've read about certain reports, was that he's like, I want Flus. I want to stick with Flus. And he was the lone voice saying, hey, I want to stick with my guy. And that's the worst move. Poles hasn't made all the right moves, but that's his worst one, was keeping Flus.
Exactly. Couldn't agree with you more. After season 2, it was obvious that he had limitations as a head coach, very smart as a defensive scheme guy, coordinator, and so forth. The players liked him at that point, and that's worth something. But the biggest thing is you're bringing in a new quarterback. Don't give it to this guy. You got to marry the quarterback and the coach. You had your chance, Ryan.
Exactly.
You had 2 years of looking at the league, knowing what are the needs and what has worked with other teams, and it's usually a offensive minded quarterback whisperer head coach who turns his good quarterback into a great one or a great one into a superstar. And he didn't do that.
And you make the game easier for him too. I mean, look at what Harbaugh's doing for Herbert right now. What do they do? They run the ball. They do play action off it. You know what? You make your runs and your passes look the same. That's what we thought we were getting when we got Shane Waldron too. Was that hey, we're going to make our runs and our passes look the same. That's going to be our way of kind of throwing teams off. And that's a smart way to go about it. But it was just like, we just went shotgun, shotgun, shotgun. We don't have the line to run shotgun. Okay. Did we find this guy's how many times has Caleb Williams got sacked this year?
Yeah.
70 times. We don't got the line to just be back there with no back and say, okay, just chuck it. We're not built like that, man. We need our linemen on the balls of their feet and not on the heels of their feet. When you're doing play action and you're running the ball, you're attacking. You're on the balls of your feet. When you're doing pass protection, you're backpedaling. We can't win like that. Obviously, we got 4. We won 4 damn games, and that was like 2 months ago, man.
Yeah. And I understand. Okay, teams sometimes are hit with injuries, and that can truly, truly impact expectations for the season and the results, not meeting those expectations. But you being Ryan Poles said, we have depth on this offensive line like we've never had before. Here's the problem. The depth players weren't any good. And guess what? The starters weren't much better. So what are you doing here? Please give me some talent, real fucking talent.
What? I really thought we were going to have a decent season this year. I'm thinking, what? We should be in it till the end of the season. We should be competing for a wild card. What? And it turns out they went to London and that was their Super Bowl and that was it.
Oh my gosh. Can you, and they looked really fucking good. They had that 3-game winning streak, beating the Rams and then beating the shit out of the Panthers and Jaguars. Yep. And everybody was saying, well, those are weak teams. And I'm like, well, but you're beating those weak teams by 3 touchdowns. So that's a good fucking sign. And then It happens. They go to Washington. Caleb looks nervous. The first half woes start not scoring points and so forth, but they battle back. They fucking battle back. And then Eberflus commits one of the biggest fucking blunders of any head coach in NFL history. He allows the team a free play to move 15 yards closer for their Hail Mary, and then he defends it afterwards. Flex, how did you feel about Eberflus then? I mean, if we could be allowed to get away with murder, like we had a purge day, would he be on your list?
I'll tell you what, I'm glad I live on the first floor. That's all I could say, because I was ready to go. That was rough, man. That was rough. Oh my God. And it's like we never recovered, and that was it.
Yeah.
And you know what? You hate to say it, but they did fold. And how do you you hear it, teams like, hey, they stopped pulling on the rope in like the second half. You say, okay. You don't say, hey, they stopped pulling on the same side of the rope after, with 10 games left. We got 10 games left. They all stopped pulling the rope. It's like, oh my God, man.
Yeah. Did you suspect that they might go ahead and not win a game the rest of the season? Because I suspected. I said they may not win another game.
How many wins did you have them for at the beginning of the season there, Aldo? You had them for a lot more than 4. I know I had them for about 10.
I think I had 10 also, yeah.
So it's like, no, I expected them to be like, all right, you know what? It was a tough loss, but maybe bounce back. But it was like, nope. The mutiny had started, man. You know what? The pitchforks were out. The players didn't believe in Flus anymore. I don't think they believed him in the start. Did you believe anything Flus said? I wasn't believing any of that Hard Knocks crap. No. You know what? He's such a weird guy. Yeah. You know what? He's somebody that probably could relate to the McCaskey. So they're like, you know what? We like this guy. We can relate to him, that type of deal. And it's not like, hey, this guy's a great coach. If you believe the reporting, he was about to get fired in Indianapolis. So, it's rough.
Hard Knocks was like really the beginning of the disappointments. That was probably the first, I should say, disappointment, because how strict the Chicago Bears organization was. We see Hard Knocks every year. They're swearing, they're showing stuff, giving a real look behind the scenes. Yep. And then they've got a clean version too, so families can see. But the Bears just wanted everything with an F word, any fight and camp, they wanted it all edited out. And if you notice, those episodes were like 40 minutes long. They were over short because they were having a hard time filling shit. So they, let's go with DJ Moore, with the kids, to the family, the chocolate thing. And that's like 10 minutes of the fucking Hard Knocks. I'm sorry, I like your kids, but I don't want to see that much of them.
I'll tell you what, Aldo, he signed a contract for like $100 million and had I got more pumped up about a $5 scratch off than this guy got. He got $100 million.
Yeah, you're right. He was so laid back about it. But, maybe he was thinking, what am I doing here, man? Should I be signing this contract?
And you know what? Talking about the most disappointing Bears, DJ Moore's got to be up there. He's probably and you know what? He's supposed to be there to calm down the rookie quarterback, to be a safety blanket, be the best receiver. They paid this guy. He's probably the top paid guy on the team. So, you are supposed to be a captain. You are supposed to help this kid out and find his way in the NFL. And he just had a terrible attitude. And I understand, because he was getting whacked. Why do they keep handing this? They love to hand him the ball. They love to give him those stupid wide receiver screens that just get blown the hell up. We can't block that either. We can't block for shit. Everybody knows it. We can't block. But at least, give you got to give him the quarterback a chance sometimes, man. And it feels like we're never running any slants. You never see Cole Kmet doing a seam pass up the middle of the field. The guy's like 6'6". He's not hard to miss. You know what I'm saying? That's a guy where you just throw a 10-yard pass in front of you, and it's like, okay, that's easy to see. That's an easy, but we just don't make anything easy for ourselves at all. It's like, that's why we're stuck where we're at right now. We're going to be picking in the top 10 again. And it's just like, man, it sucks, man. And I was looking forward to this season. I'm saying, you know what? Last year I was looking at the draft a lot more, because I'm like, you know what? We're going to need a quarterback. We're going to need some stuff. We got 2 picks in the top 10. This year in college football, I'm like, oh, I don't want to be watching college football that much, because I don't think we're going to be picking early anymore. And then it's like, oh, here we go again. Here we are.
Start paying attention to the draft, in early December and November. It's crazy. Let's transition to the most disappointing Bears, because I wrote down 3 names, and number 1, you just talked about him, DJ Moore. He's the most disappointing to me, primarily because he just didn't behave like a captain. Yeah. Primarily because he's got a rookie quarterback. The body language should be positive for the guy. I don't want you to go out there and lie. If you feel like you're lying about the guy, then don't say anything. Keep your fucking mouth shut. Go to the head coach and say, I don't want to be the captain because it's going to require me to say things that I don't really believe in and stuff until this team turns it around. I don't want the captainship. But he didn't do anything, of high quality. I think a captain is a guy who is a very dependable person who has ethics and morals and pays attention to his body language, who's a good communicator and stuff. And he just failed all of that. I love the way the guy plays. I think he's a hell of a player, and I hope that he finds happiness here in Chicago and he helps to win a Super Bowls. But in 2024, he's my most disappointing player. Who is yours?
I'd have to agree. Just talking about it earlier and just saying, like, the body language and all that. And it's like, dude, you got to step up to the plate, man. They're paying you to be a captain, bro. It's like, we're not asking for a whole bunch. We're asking, hey, help this kid out, give him easy, be a good target for this guy and be a good, like, older brother to him. You know what I'm saying? Right, like, this guy's just coming into the league. And what I have to say about Caleb right now is that he's earning the respect of his teammates right now by taking the beating that he's taking right now. Yeah. He's earned my respect. You know what? When you're number 1 pick and everybody's picking on him because, his nails and everybody wants to call him fruity, this and that, But it's like, you know what? This kid's showing that he's tough. He's hanging in there. He's taking a beating. And you know what? He's sticking in there. So he's going to earn that captain spot. He's not just going to be a captain. He's earned his captain spot for next year. And what I want to see from Caleb is to take this beating. Don't forget about this beating that you're taking and use this to fuel you for next year. Because guess what? We're going to have a new coach in here. We're going to have this team needs a complete attitude adjustment.
Absolutely.
And it's going to start with captains like Caleb and whoever the biggest defensive dude is, whoever our biggest, baddest defensive dude, whoever that shakes out to be that we could get behind, that's who it's got to be.
There you go. King Booker World says most disappointing Bear is Chris Morgan. In 3 years, not one offensive lineman has improved. There's a lot of truth to what you're saying. In fact, I can't dispute any of that. Maybe there's been some incremental improvement a little bit. Braxton Jones is a little bit better than he was his rookie season. But yeah, you're right. He has not developed an offensive line that you can say is worthy of protecting a rookie quarterback. And that's the key thing. That's who you had to hire. That's, bring in guys who can do that job. And so Chris Morgan didn't develop them, and maybe those guys weren't developable. So maybe Ryan Poles is, partly to blame. What do you think?
Well, we've had these different OCs here, and they haven't brought in their own O-line coach. Which is a pretty important hire for a man that's about to control your offense. And this guy's stuck around. Okay. So it's like, how does that, they do everything messed up with the Bears, and so it's just, you can't really call it. It just seems like more of the same with them, where they're just like, oh, well, we'll just go with the flow. We like this guy, so we'll just keep with him. And it's like, well, we haven't improved. I would say the whole team, where have we gotten better? I can't even really call it. It's called drafting and developing. The developing part, who are we developing here? Maybe Kyler Gordon. I mean, Kyler Gordon, he's been playing like a stud. I got to give it to him. He's still out there playing, and he plays a tough position. But, I'm just not seeing too much development here. And, do any of these coaches stick? Probably. No, right? Or are they going to do more Bear stuff where they try to piece it together, make this new coach, keep these guys, this, that?
If they don't, I'm gonna fucking jump off my second floor window. Best meat marinade. He says, go to Spoke Track and see what the Bears offensive linemen make. You get what you pay for. But here's the thing: they got three guys. They got three guys in their rookie contract, and so that is a big explanation why. Yeah, I understand.
They spent draft capital there.
Exactly. They spent, draft capital there. So part of the reason that they're underpaid is because they invested in draft young players to that. And clearly that was a mistake. Mike Miglinski, who I'm not a huge fan of, but he was a free agent, and Ryan Post said, I'm not going to pay what he wants in guaranteed dollars. And perhaps we can argue about it, debate about it, but perhaps that was a mistake because a veteran offensive lineman like Miglinski for a rookie quarterback like Caleb, or this would have been in Justin Fields here because he signed last year, would have been a fucking good thing to have instead of having, Braxton Jones. Maybe move Braxton inside and let him develop there.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's very frustrating.
You know what? That's the most frustrating part of the team. Aldo, when you're looking at it, the offensive line, and it's just, man, we don't want to ruin this kid. And I think he's above that, though. I think Caleb is above what's going on right now.
I hope
You know what? He's got a great attitude. You know what? He's proven a lot to me this year, I got to say. I knew that he was a really good quarterback in college. I think anybody could see that. I mean, you're like, wow, this guy could throw the rock, But it's like, give him a little time. But it's like, man, it's hard to believe the offensive line is this bad.
It's really,
and it's like, man, it's a mash unit out there. We understand it's not the starters, but it is like, man, dude, it's hard to believe. Like they can't. We scored 3 points last night.
Yeah. We had a touchdown taken away because one of our offensive linemen committed a penalty. All right, so I had DJ Moore topping my list. Who's on your list of most disappointing Bears 2024?
Well, you know what? We talked about him earlier too, and it's got to be Montez Sweat.
He's on my list.
You know what? And we did need a guy like that. I like the guy. You know what? I think he's been hurt most of the season, but we aren't getting that pass rush, man. And this damn cover 2 where we just play off and you're not getting any pass rush. It's the worst thing to watch in the world. That's a death by 1,000 cuts right there. There they go. 5 yards, 5 yards, 5 yards down the field. We get used to that by Green Bay doing it to us every year with Aaron Rodgers. He would take what we'd give him, and then he'd get that one explosive play, and then we'd be toast. Yeah. And it's like now we're not getting any rush at all. Well, the defense played well last night. But absolutely. I mean, we're out of the season's been over for like 10 weeks. Mm-hmm. But I mean, they finally showed up, which was good. But it's like that's D-line. We need both. We need O-line and D-line, man. There's no getting around it. Right. I don't know.
It's funny though, last night Geno Smith was 3.5. Geno Smith was interviewed after the game, and he was asked, how come only 6 points? And he says, well, the first thing he says, well, the weather conditions. And he was talking about how slippery it was and the ball was wet and all this stuff. And then he kind of caught himself and said, oh, the Bears defense played good too. but I get what he was saying. Those were fucked up to conditions for both teams.
Yeah. No, it was, you know what though? Flus, the number one thing he did, how does that Bermuda grass, what is that Bermuda green or whatever they call it, Bermuda blue, that grass? The best thing Flus ever did was the turf at Soldier Field. I mean, maybe he could get a job with Roger Bossert, the Sodfather, with White Sox or whatever,
There you go. All right, I had Montez Sweat second on my list, and then the third guy is Tyreek Stevenson. I mean, I expected him to make that leap from his freshman year to his second year. The last 6-7 games last year, he played at a Pro Bowl level. And then this year he comes out and he's full of himself. That's the biggest thing that I can say. I don't mind having players on the team who talk shit and get jacked up and so forth. But when the ball is snapped, you can't be having an interaction with the crowd. Everybody knows the whole thing, so I don't have to go through it. He just really was a major part of why the season was fucked up. And you know, those captains, the Montez Sweats and DJ Moore, you know, they didn't address it with him. They said, well, you know, the team addressed it and blah, blah, let it go. That had to be handled a lot better. Tyreek Stevenson can still end up having a great NFL career, but there's going to be that scarlet letter on his chest because of that one play. It really fucked up the season. What do you think, Flex?
Well, as a Bears fan, we got to hope, because he is a second-round pick and it will be his third year, we got to hope that he uses it as motivation, because he did lay an egg this year, man. There's no doubt about it. That play, you know, that play really did wreck it. You know, what else can you say about it? But you know what? We do need more guys that play with an edge, though. I mean, we don't have enough guys that play with their hair on fire. You know what? In football, man, you need those grimy dudes. You need them. You want those guys usually on your line, you know, like, you know, the best Bear in the past, 15 years is probably Akeem Hicks, you know, just being that big dude that could start the team, that you know, you fall behind him and he was going to make something happen. But when these guys are like on the edge players, like a receiver or a corner, you can't really have those guys as like leaders. You know, that you can't, it's just the team's backwards, man. You know, that's the thing. But, you know, somebody like a big guy like that could just blow up plays. That's somebody you're going to follow. You know, that's somebody that's really going to make stuff happen. So, and he's somebody that could keep everybody in line. Yeah. And who's keeping Stevenson in line? Who's talking to this? Who's staying on the same page with him? You know, you want people to play with an edge. You want him to play with an edge because, dude, cornerback is tough. You're running backwards with the best athletes on the planet. You know, I mean, let's just be real. You know, you're trying to keep up with these dudes that are like track stars running backwards with them. So, you know, you got to have an edge. You got to get up in their face. You got to try to make it to where it's like get in their head so that they're thinking instead of just reacting and playing and catching the ball. You want them thinking. And there were some times where, you know, last year, Stevenson, by the second half of the season, he really figured it out. You know, he was getting flagged early in the season last year, and then the second half of the season, you're like, man, this guy ain't afraid to get his nose in there. You know what? You need guys like that. They're going to put up some hits. You know what? You make these guys think twice. We're not making anybody think twice. We're playing back. Oh, well, everything's a bubble, everything in front of us. We don't got the guys for that, man. You know?
Yeah. I totally agree. I do not disagree with a single word you said. For our audio podcast followers, I am talking to Flex Diggs, who is frequently in the chat room for our Barroom Network programming. Really, really appreciate his time. This is Bear Stuff with Aldo. I am going to, over the off season, continue to do these shows and invite people on to have one-on-one discussions, maybe even have, you know, 2 or 3 people have group discussions. I'm trying to figure out what the best way is to have this show. And one of the things I love most is learning how people feel about this team, the Chicago Bears. I need people to commiserate with. All right. Anybody else on your most disappointed list that you want to add to? I've gone through my 3. DJ Moore, Montez, and Tyreek.
Nate Davis. How is that? I mean, that was just what a disaster. So that's a guy that we put a lot of money into, you know, and say, hey, this guy could help us out. And I think polls kind of like neglected this guy's whole background. You do any background check on this guy, and it's like, you know what? Vrabel didn't want him. He's like, get this guy off my team. I don't want people like this. These guys don't practice. This guy doesn't go hard, you know. And it's like, then he gets here, and you know, I understand he had some family troubles in that, and I think his mom passed away, which is terrible. But it's also like, you know, everybody's responsible for their own actions too, though, man. You know,
absolutely.
And it's like, if you don't want to come out here and you don't want to be a part of the team, or you don't want to, you know, they paid you to be one of the top guys on the line here, and then all of a sudden it's like, I only play right guard, and Tevin Jenkins was our best right guard, and it's like so you're basically telling Tevin Jenkins like, hey, you know what, we think of you as a second-class citizen. You go over to the left side. We're going to take Nate Davis's side here, and we're going to put him at right guard because this is where he goes. Well, now you probably ain't going to have both of them on the team next year. and you maybe could have had Tevin on the right side, and you maybe could, you could have been running on that side the whole damn time.
Mm-hmm.
It's aggravating, Like we could say it till we're blue in the face. I think all Bears fans, we just talk around in circles, but we're all saying the same thing. The Bears screw it up.
They do. I didn't have him on my list, but clearly he's worthy of being, on anybody's list of disappointing players. But the reason I didn't put him on my list was because I had very low expectations for him in 2024. I saw enough of him in 2023 to not expect him to be much. And with the depth that Poles acquired, I kind of thought it's probably going to be Bates and Sheldon at those two positions, and Davis is going to lose his job. But it was a terrible, terrible acquisition by Ryan Poles. And
you talk about Bates too there, Aldo. And it's like, how long, Poles has been trying to get this guy for a while.
3 seasons.
It's like he kept going for this guy, and the guy didn't even play for the Bills last year. And it's like, what the hell does he see in this guy? You could have used that pick on a lineman, And I remember on draft day, that was probably like a 4th rounder or 5th rounder that we gave up for him. I forget exactly what it was. But it's like, then we get the punter. Okay. And I know people, I know that's like a big sticking point here with fans, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I remember like watching your show, and I'm like, punter, what are we doing? And, I was like, this guy's good, this guy. Yeah. And it's like, it's almost like that old Pawn Stars meme, Flus and all these guys are sitting there like, oh, we need some offensive linemen, we need some defensive linemen, and Poles is like, well, the best I could do is a punter.
That's hilarious. I don't know if I've seen that one. That is great. It pains me to say this, but my confidence level in Poles just gets lower and lower the more we talk about them. I've got some comments starred that I'd love for you to react to. 3.5 asked you, what about DJ or DeAndre Swift?
You know what? Anybody's going to look good behind that Eagles line last year. And then we see how Saquon Barkley's playing this year behind that line. I mean, the guy's in the MVP talks. And Swift comes to this line, and he's probably like, oh, shit, I'm going to get my brains beat in, And the guy, I'll give this to Swift, is that, he's a good weapon on offense, but he's not a good starting tailback on offense.
100% agree. 100%. Yep.
And Aldo, you've always been talking about like, I need a running back. I need a running back. You want to get one of those, like, I know you were on Jahmyr Gibbs and that, and I'm like, dude, you're right on that. And I think Poles was right trying to get Saquon this year too. He didn't pony up the money, but I mean, he would have changed our running attack big time. But Swift is just, he's a weapon. He's not an actual like load back.
Yeah, Jay Sanders says, and I think he's referring to DeAndre Swift, that Swift is like a Tariq Cohen. Yeah, he really is. He's more of a gadget guy, isn't he?
Yeah. Definitely.
All right, some more comments to react to here. Tim Madison says, my 3 most disappointing Bears are Ryan Bates, Tremaine Edmonds, and Stevenson. Hard to argue with that. With Bates, it's because of a concussion that we haven't seen him out there. But that's what you get when you get these kind of journeyman linemen like Lucas Patrick, Ryan Bates. It's like fucking Matt Nagy, Matt Eberflus. They all match, Mediocre.
We're just going around in a circle with these guys, man. It seems like we're just stuck in the spin cycle, man. We can't get out of this shit.
Yep. Jay Sanders says that DJ Moore will be traded. You agree with that?
Man. How do you pay the guy the most on the team and then be like, oh, sorry, we're getting rid of you? You're like, hey, this is the guy we believe in. This is the guy that we're ponying up for. And they're like, oh, well, sorry, 1 year later, goodbye. It's like, we need him and Caleb to be working, in their off season here. Dunze, Moore, anybody that knows that they're going to be on this damn team. I don't care if they know who the coach is yet. These guys need to be, These guys need to be on the same page when the year starts next year. Hopefully the coach that we get in here can galvanize these guys and get everybody on the same page. Because, I mean, it's been a free-for-all for like 10 weeks, man. Even, it's really been sad, dude, where it just exploded. And it's like, half these games we're not even in them.
Yep. Would you be okay if the Bears traded draft picks to acquire veteran proven offensive linemen?
If it works out, yeah. If it doesn't, no.
Yeah, I'll invest
You
in that
know, it's like, here
car
we
or whatever.
go. Here we go. It all comes down to who you pick up.
Yeah.
If
Because
you're
I
getting
think,
starters in the second round,
yeah, and I don't have names for you, but I'm going to work on this to have a more concrete example. But I think that the fastest way, potentially, to fix the offensive line is through trades, because there
okay.
is
I
nobody
mean, you might be
in
right.
this draft. There's nobody in this draft that you can say is a plug and play offensive lineman.
Yeah.
The good ones all have certain things. They could potentially be Darnell Wright types, which is a little bit above average, but there are no fucking studs, man. And I want studs around Caleb.
Man, and I know, you know what? Also, you've been talking a lot about. I always kind of push back on it, but you talk about getting guards early in the draft. And you know what? I'm coming around to your thinking,
Thank you.
because the way that we're playing right now in offensive line, I don't know. You're gonna have to do a shotgun approach. I don't know. Get a couple free agents, get a couple draft picks. You know what? You're gonna have to throw shit at the wall and just see what sticks at this point. Because I mean, we need to a double barrel approach here, man. No, all hands on deck. You can't get this kid killed. If he's got a little bit of time, you could see the stuff he does, man. That throw last night to DJ Moore on the 4th down is one of the most incredible friggin' throws you'll ever see. He's fully extended. DJ Moore is barely even. I mean, you can't even tell that he's open. Yeah. But he's just throwing to that spot, and that was impressive, man. Yeah, so I just, as Bear fans, we just got to hope that they can protect the kid halfway decent, man. It's like, dude, don't get the kid killed. Everybody gives up sacks. No offensive line is tough. It's hard to get good guys. No offensive line is that great. But I mean, we got to give this kid a chance if we want to be a good team.
Yeah, I hear you. Brandon is here. If you were here early in the show and listened to Brandon's rants, he writes here, I'm here, Aldo and Flex, took an old man nap and had to catch up. All right, so here's what I want to play. Where is it here? Let me look for it. This was Brandon. If you have not heard the first 5 minutes of the show, I had a montage of Brandon sending me these audio text clips, and this is him complaining about the fucking disgusting job by Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit making fun of us fans. And let me play this, and then on the other side, I want to talk to Flex about it. It's coming right up, and I think it's about 45 seconds long. Here is Brandon Lawson.
Pisses me the motherfucker off, dude. You should have if you could have seen the fucking rant, you probably couldn't have played it, because I would have offended a few different fucking groups of people. But I'm going to tell you like this, Aldo. Those motherfucking stupid fucking announcers, Al Michaels and Kirk fucking Herbstreit, are sitting there talking motherfucking shit the whole fucking time. Like, haha, Chicago fans will cheer for anything. It's worse. It's bad to have a bad fucking team, but to have to listen to these stupid motherfuckers every fucking game running their motherfucking mouth pisses me the fuck off.
I love it, man. I love it. That's how I felt. Flex, did you feel that way too?
Aldo, you pay attention to the media stuff because you are that guy. You really are. You're a sound guy and all that. And you got to listen to all this crap. I try to turn the sound off on these clowns. It's like
I don't blame you.
I'd rather listen to like a show or something that I'm interested in and watch the game than listen to these guys. Because I know the Bears suck. You don't got to tell me. I'm a Bears fan. I got to watch this crap. Unfortunately, I'm stuck to this team. They know they got us by the balls. Okay. Yeah. So, it's like, I know they suck. I don't need to hear these announcers say it, but then it's going to get all, everybody's going to get on Twitter, or they're going to say whatever they're going to say about the Bears. And I don't like getting involved with that, just because it's like, do you think any of these other fans of these other teams want the Bears to be good? No. They don't want us to be good. And it's like, you know what? I don't want to be going down that rabbit hole of just being like, hey, piss off, you piss off. It's going to turn into a FU contest. And it's like, I can't help that I'm a Bears fan anymore, man. It's just you can't help it. It
It's like,
sucks.
I can't change my kids. These are my kids. No, you know what? I agree with you, and I should probably pay less attention to that because it's just adding to my stress and aggravation. But I thought it was very disrespectful of that part of the game where Kyler Gordon, seemingly was untouched and ran the ball back for a touchdown. And Al Michaels starts joking about it. And Kirk Herbstreit starts being really sarcastic about it. Look at the Bears fans, they'll cheer for anything, and blah, blah, even a non-touchdown. And then they look like fools for a second because the referees then said it was a touchdown. And they were all like, backtracking. And then they said, it's not a touchdown. And then they started calling us idiots again. And so it's like, dude, you guys are professionals. If anything, you should be lamenting us Bears fans and saying, we deserve better than the trash out there. Have some guts, have some balls.
The Bears fans still show up after losing 10 in a row. Bears fans still show up. Bears fans are still out there, cheering on this team that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, Aldo, I used to be an usher at Bears games when I was a kid, when I was a teenager.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And guess what happened? The second half of the season, when it started getting cold, I didn't show up because they sucked.
Wasn't worth the money, huh? That's wild. What season was that?
It had to be like it was either like Wanstead's last year or Dick Duran's year,
Okay.
And
yeah,
I'll tell you, although a quick story is that I was working with a friend of mine that we were on the same football team in high school, and we're working the sections and stuff. And this one lady that's there, hey Mike, come with me, So I go and I get on the field while the game's going on behind the Bears sideline, and
nice.
I mean you could hear that cracking, you could hear. You need to see how big these dudes are,
Oh, for sure.
And it was pretty cool. I kind of savored that moment while I was on that sideline, while the game was going on. It was pretty cool.
Absolutely.
So they send me to the north side of the field, and I see you remember Brad Palmer?
Oh yeah.
The guy, and he's like, yeah, he had one of those cabbie hats on and stuff. And then I see Mark G and Greco, and I'm like, damn, he's darker than the brothers. Look at this guy's got a tan. I was like, holy cow, he's tan, this G and Greco, right? So then all the players start coming up because I'm at the north end zone. And so I see these guys, and I'm kind of sizing them up because when you're young, you're like, man, I wish I was out there playing. Everybody kind of feels like that.
Sure.
And a couple of these guys walk by, and you see I see Shane Matthews, and he just looked like a cool, nice guy that got along with people. And then you see Cade McNown walk by, and he just looked like the biggest prick. And nobody, and it's that kind of, when you're the quarterback, you're a leader of other people, and you got to get along with people, and you got to show that, hey, you're supporting each other type of deal. And you can just tell, this guy knows a guy, and this is probably his rookie year or whatever. I'm like, this guy is freaking this guy. Oh man, you just wanted to sock him in the nose seeing this guy. You're like, dude, this guy looks like a prick. But then I was like, oh yeah, whatever, this guy, and then you see James Big Cat Williams walks by, and it's like, yeah, that's the leader of the team. You know what? You didn't even have to question that. You know what? The way he carried himself and the way that he was, it's like he commanded respect, and he's a leader on the team. And those are the kind of guys that we're kind of lacking right now. So I'm hoping maybe Dexter or Billings, the kind of those bigger guys. We need those guys. We need some more guys. We need some to step up, man. That's how the Bears are going to get better.
Right. They need, and Montez Sweat doesn't have that personality, so it may not be him, but maybe Dexter, because when he talked in press conferences early in the season, he sounded like he was ready to take that next big step, and he started strong, but hasn't, I think that the defensive line as a whole is just lacking one more top-notch superstar quality player that will help unlock everybody else on the defensive line. Will unlock Montez, because we won't know, who to double team, because you've got that extra guy. And sometimes when Dexter has a mismatch on a guard, he can fucking wreak havoc. So the defensive line could be close, but they're just one player away. By the way, great story on your Soldier Field experience. I got, speaking of Soldier Field, you had some thoughts regarding the new stadium that you wanted to share. I'm anxious to hear what you have mapped out in terms of your thoughts on what's gonna
Well,
happen at the
first off,
stadium?
I know everybody hates Soldier Field. Everybody's like, oh, whatever. But you know what? The city looked great last night. No matter what you want to say about the team, no matter what anybody wants to say, I'm a proud Chicagoan man, and it just looked great last night. You're on the lake, you got all the buildings lit up, the field looked good, and but I just feel like what's going on right now is they're going to screw over all the regular people to pay for these billionaire stadium.
So
and
you
that's what's
think
going to
that the
happen.
Chicago taxpayers are going to get screwed, and it's going to be a lakefront
Well,
type
I mean,
stadium?
we already are, because we still owe about $600 million on the last renovation, and now they want to dip to Arlington Heights and leave us with the bill. And it's like, you think we could have spent that $1 billion on better stuff for the city of Chicago? Do you think we could have improved stuff in Chicago? Obviously we could have with that money, but we gave it to the billionaires, and that's why Ted Phillips had a job for so long, because he was able to secure that deal, and that's why he's been with them so long. And now I just see what's going on here, as they're going to have the Warren's going to do the same thing. He's going to secure the stadium. He's going to get a bunch of taxpayer money. They're going to cry broke and be like, "Oh, we need money for a stadium," and then we're all going to get stuck fitting the bill. And the Bears are still going to suck. That's my worst. That's my worst nightmare.
Well, it's interesting because I was talking to Greg Gabriel about this. I really do believe the reason Kevin Warren is not looking at Arlington Heights because they might have a cash flow problem, and so they're going to the city with their hands out, to salvage that. The idea of getting the stadium, but solve their cash flow problem. Now, how can a multi-billion-dollar organization have cash flow problems? Lots of corporations, rich people, so forth, have these cash flow problems. It's stuff that's way beyond my little itty-bitty knowledge of finances, but it could be one of the issues.
Well, that's a big deal, Aldo. That's a huge deal. You know what? They don't have that cash. They had the cash to buy that land in Arlington Heights,
right?
And but they need money to build it, and they're going to come hat in hand saying, "Oh, we need more money for this stadium," and blah blah blah. And it's like KC has won Super Bowls, and they're like, "No, we ain't paying for a new stadium for these." They don't even want to pay for the Chiefs, and they win.
That's right. And the Hunt family has billions of dollars. They could easily pay for themselves.
I mean, the McCaskies are not, they're not business people. They come to the window every year, and they get their stipend when they get that TV money. They all come, get their money. It's like a mutual fund almost. The Bears are a mutual fund. They're, for the McCaskies. It's not like they're not, it's not like you have to run it as a business. It's automatic money that they get from the TV to pay. And so they're, so George Hallis, I mean, he started it all, and they're just trust fund babies. Basically, they don't know anything about the sport. So Hallis, he's throwing around nickels like manhole covers to make this league happen. Because he's running an actual business, and he knows what it takes to do this. And now everybody else is benefiting, but the Bears still suck. Yeah.
Soa says that the Bears have the least wealthy owners in football. Bring in Bezos, new stadium, and new payroll. And there's, I'm beginning to believe there's truth to the fact that this team does need a multi-billionaire in order to succeed.
Well, it's an arms race, man. It's an arms race, like everything. You know what? But also, I will say, there's a salary cap. So it isn't like more money is going to make us better. Right. And it's not like giving these guys more tax breaks and making sure the McCaskies have more money is going to make the team better. It's not, in my opinion.
The thing about the salary cap that is a bit of a caveat, because I've been saying every team spends the same amount and so forth, so the Bears aren't cheap in terms of their player contracts. But the only caveat to that is, let's say you sign a quarterback, like, your next quarterback, big contract is going to be $500 million, maybe $750 million, where you have to have a certain amount of that in escrow, or you can't sign that fucking big time contract. And so you have to have cash flow. You have to have cash on hand to meet some of these very, very expensive contracts. the little I know.
Well, I'll tell you, although they should have kept the horse track up in Arlington Heights, then they could have been just keep betting on Pat Day. That's all, like we did back in the day.
Exactly. Exactly. Outstanding stuff. What do you think about the idea of Pete Carroll interviewing for the head coach job?
You know what? He's past it. You know, he's in his 70s or whatever. But does it hurt to talk to the guy? Does it hurt to hear what he has to say about what's going on here? You know, he's an energetic guy, if you've ever seen him, you know. And even, you know, and with Belichick, I know that Belichick signed, you know, but it was like this guy, people were acting like, oh, we don't want Belichick. We don't want Belichick. It's like, if Belichick came in and said, I want this job or I want to be a part of this, you know what you say? Yes, because we don't know what the fuck we're doing. We're the Bears. We don't know anything. This guy walks in, he has more rings than fingers on his right hand. You know, it's like, you know, sometimes you got to humble yourself, especially when you got 4 wins and you got to say, hey, we don't know what the hell we're doing. And we got to listen to somebody that actually knows what the hell they're doing. Yeah, and the Bears.
And Kevin Warren pretending to know what he's doing scares the hell out of me. Go ahead.
I agree, but I agree 100% with that, Aldo.
Anyway, so I asked you about Pete Carroll. The other thing is, you know, a lot of people keep bringing up Ian Cunningham's name. You know what? I know about as much as Ian Cunningham as I do the neighbor down the street who lives in that purple house. Who knows if he's the problem in the front office with some of the trades? These bad trades, Chase Claypool, for second round pick, because Poles did say that Ian negotiated a couple of those trades. So maybe he's part of the problem. Maybe he's holding Ryan Poles back from making a big time investment on an offensive lineman. We don't know.
You know what? There's got to be a lot of finger pointing going up in Hallis Hall. There's a lot of finger pointing. You did this, you did that, you know, and you know that Dan Wiederer article that came out was basically like Kevin Warren talking to this guy. You know, have you read it? You're like, okay, and now everybody's dumping on Poles, and Poles, you know what? He deserves the whooping that he's getting right now. I can't. And if they decide to fire him with 1 year left on his contract, I wouldn't be like, you know, I'm not going to cry a river for this guy. But I do think he's the most competent guy up there. So that's what we're looking at. Is like, okay, he did make a trade to get the first pick. He traded the first pick. He got the first pick again with the trade. You know, I'm not trying to like, you know, I'm not trying to pump this guy up because, you know what, if he was to get taken out, you know, it is what it is. It's a cutthroat business.
Right.
But it's like, you know what?
I understand your point that at Hallis Hall from a football perspective, Ryan Poles has the most knowledge of anyone that's already over there.
And he's a young guy learning.
And he's a young guy learning. And so what I'm asking, what I'm saying, first of all, is prove to me that you deserve 3 more years and a chance to bring in your second head coach. Prove it to me with your plan. And if he gives out that aura that I have seen in the last few press conferences where he seems, you know, inexperienced at the job, he's fucking crying because he's cutting a third string defensive back. If he's giving that aura, I'm going to say, listen, your plan.
You got to go.
Get the fuck out of here.
Dude, I mean, there's no way to defend the guy for half the stuff he's done. Okay.
Yeah, there's no way.
I mean, it's we're in a mess right now, man. And you know what? It's almost like Reservoir Dogs where nobody trusts each other. You know, they're all,
Mr. Black, Mr.
You're the cop. You're the cop. You know what? Everybody's like, you know.
Great analogy. Excellent. All right, my last question for you, and then we'll get out of here. Is I went on a rant last night because I've been saying let's mothball Caleb Williams, you know, at least for the Seattle game, and then bring him back for the Packers if things are looking good. But right now, I'm saying don't play him against Green Bay. Put Tyson Bagent out there. We'll get an idea of what he's looking like. But most of all, we're going to protect Caleb Williams. If he has another performance like he did last night in Green Bay, that is going to leave a psychological scar on him that might not be repairable. What do you think?
Man, Aldo, you know what? Just think it back to playing football. If you're not on the field showing that you're the leader, if you're proving it on the field, it's hard for people to take you serious. And when you're a young guy coming to a team like this, where there's a lot of men. These are men that feed their families doing this, and he has to prove himself to them. It's one thing for you and I to say something. Oh, he shouldn't play. He shouldn't go out there. And you know what? I think for the most part, I think people are that's logical.
Yeah.
But football isn't always logical because it's like, you know what? You're got to go out there and prove what you're about. Yeah. So you know what? If I were Caleb, you know what? I'd make me not play.
Yes. Well, and the way I would handle it, if I'm the head coach, I would say, listen, I'm worried about our offensive line and what they're doing to you. I know you want to play. I know you want to go out there and prove yourself, but I really do think it's best for your career if we sit you for this upcoming game and then come back in 2025 ready to kick ass. Now, if you want to start the game and then in the second quarter we bring in Tyson or something, I'm with you. I'll give you that. But I think we should rest you for at least the final 3 quarters of the game to protect you because this offensive line can't protect you.
Well, I might hire you over polls then.
That's a great final word. Oh, man, this has been fun spending this hour and 10 minutes with you, brother. We have to do it again. Are you up for that?
Definitely.
All
nice
right.
talking to you, Aldo. I appreciate all the work you do, and everybody in the chat that I'm always chatting up with. I appreciate your guys' opinion too all the time. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody out there.
Thank you, Flex. We'll talk to you soon, brother. That is Flex Diggs. He is my man. He is a great follower. I really enjoy talking ball with him. That's the second time he has been on. And if you want to come on and BS with me, talk Bears stuff, please, just send me a message on either my email, which is aldo@bearsbarroom.com, or just DM me on X and I'll respond. I'm putting together a schedule because I got 2 or 3 people who have already expressed interest, maybe 3 or 4. And let's see. Jimith says, by the way, Aldo, you look way younger than your age. Thank you. You know how? Why? Because I don't get any more pussy. I probably shouldn't have said that, but today is my wedding anniversary. By the way, if my wife heard that, then I'm definitely not getting any. But I truly, truly enjoy chatting football with you. Cliff Victoria is in the house. Cliff, you had a great question for Greg, and it escaped me. I didn't get a chance to ask. I hope you can attend next week's game. And I'm forgetting what the question next week's show with Greg. I'm forgetting what the question was. Something like about technology taking over, or it was more technology should help us with coaches, searchers, or something like that. I thought it was a good question, but I lost it in the chat and wasn't able to frame it. So if you could bring that question next week, I'd love to make sure Greg addresses it. Yeah, D. Darren, I am 75 years old. 66, brother. I am 66 and feeling good. Let's see. Was there one other thing that I wanted to share with you guys? I think I covered it all, other than at 7 p.m., the Willis twins are going to be here, and they're going to, try to make sense of this whole shit. And then next week, we're going to do a lot of end of the year stuff, so the best way to stay on top of stuff here is to subscribe. You'll get an alert every time we go live on YouTube. And of course, all of our stuff is on demand, whether you want to listen to it on audio. You go to Google, you go to Spotify, you go to Apple, just hit Barroom Network, and we'll come up there, subscribe, and you'll start getting stuff to your devices. So, and then, do this too. Subscribe, hit the bell, jerk off, do whatever you need to do in order to have some fun with us. Another premature off season for Bears fans. Yeah, it started about right after the Washington game, right? Sports Chicago store says, I saw the missus in the laundry room. I know how that PR plot is. That's right. I had her in the laundry room. Told her I was going to do a show. Today, I woke up and I remembered, oh shit, it's the anniversary. What did I get her? Nothing. And so I, give her a lot of kisses in the morning. And then I let her know that I got 3 shows today. She kind of looks at me a little disappointed, but in reality, she just wants to see her Dateline crime dramas and sit and relax after a very busy Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and all that planning that she did wonderfully leading up to the event. Hope everyone here had a fantastic holiday, and we'll have a fantastic New Year's. We'll be with you throughout 2025, so hang around and let people know what we're doing here. Cliff says, I think they are related to the Willis twins. Are the Willis twins related to Bruce Willis? No, they're actually not, but they're cool guys nonetheless. So, yeah, I might have to take her to dinner, but I got to do the Willis show, so that's at 7. I think we'll probably, order some Uncle Julio's or something like that and celebrate our anniversary with a quiet dinner after the Willis Twin Towers, which is at 7 p.m. Central, live here on the Barroom Network. So for Flex Diggs, for myself, and for everybody else, thanks a lot for being with us live and watching on demand, those of you who are. Take care.
My love for you, I could never hide. Oh, don't know I love you, babe. My love for you, I could never hide.